Hello, Jim Colt from Hypertherm here. Out working in my shop this beautiful New Hampshire afternoon, and just wanted to show you a couple little tricks that you can do if you've got a CNC plasma cutter. In this case, what I'm doing is building a speaker's pedestal or a speaker's podium that's going to be used at the trade shows this fall. The IMTS show is coming up. Hypertherm's got a big booth there, and we've got multiple booths at the FabTech show, which is out in Las Vegas. We'll also be at the SEMA show in Vegas a couple weeks before the FabTech show. I'll be at pretty much all of them except for the IMTS show. But anyway, so at the last minute we decided we needed a couple of speakers podiums for in our booth. And I volunteered. I said, you know, I've got a shop at home. I'd much rather be out there and, with the doors open and cutting metal and fabricating metal because I love doing it. So, but anyway, just want to show a couple little pointers. Back here on my little CNC table, I just cut some parts a little while ago, and one of them is a shelf that's actually going to fit on the podium down underneath it, where you can store your briefcase and things like that while you're speaking. And what I like to do is, since I have limited equipment in my shop, I don't have a really nice press brake. I've got a little bender that's made for bending sheet metal, like 20 gauge steel. Well, these shelves that I cut out are made of 16 gauge carbon steel. You can see there's a hole here. That's where power cords can come up through the podium and things like that. You'll also notice some little stitch cuts, I call them, right up here on the top. And what those do is they allow me to bend this very easily, even with a really light duty bending brake, because it's 16 gauge. It's really too thick for my light bending brake. You could even bend them by hand, you know, using some techniques with a 2x4 and a piece of angle iron. I'm sure we've all bent a piece of metal that way, one way or another. So it just makes the job a little easier. Let me show you one that's finished and ready to go. That's this part right here. It's the same piece. What I did with this one is just took a flap disc, cleaned up the edges a little bit where there was a little bit of slag from or dross, you know, from piercing the holes and so forth. But then you can see the bent edge right here. This edge bent very nicely on a really thin little brake. I'm going to show you another example of a part that you can do like that was difficult to do if you don't have this kind of technology. Those of you that are automotive type guys, how often do you have to make some sort of a bracket that looks like this? It could be an exhaust hanger, it could be a body mount, something like that. So in the past, when I made a part like this, I would have probably cut 3 pieces. Maybe with a hand torch, I would have cut 2 of these side panels, and then I would have walked over to the drill press and drilled these little holes. And then I would have somehow jigged them up on the bench and welded up the corners on it, just like this one has been done. Okay? How many of you have done that? Raise your hand. I bet a lot of us have. I probably would have close to an hour in it from the time that I laid the part out until I got something that I could use. When you've got a CNC plasma cutter, what I do is cut a part that looks like this, one piece. That's about, once you get good with the CAD drawing, it's about 5 minutes of drawing time. Gets rid of all that real time-consuming layout work that you have to do. And then I just take that piece and bend it. You can see the corners where I did those stitch cuts, bend them, and then you just MIG weld or TIG weld right up those corners, and you've got your bracket done. 5 minutes drawing time, about 20 seconds cutting time, and a few minutes welding time. Heck of a lot less than probably the hour that you'd have into one of these parts doing it the other way. So let's take a look at, I've got one of the pedestals right here beside me. Let me get this camera pointed at it, and you can kind of see it. We'll tilt down a little bit. So this is the top of the pedestal. It's going to hinge up. The speaker stands right in this area and talks off to the crowd this way. You can see I've made I made the frame of the pedestal out of a piece of out of 1x1 square tube, and then there'll be side panels that go on it and graphics that go on the front. But let's show you how that shelf that I just showed you a minute ago fits on this unit. Here's the shelf with the bent corners on it. Tilted at an angle like this. I haven't tried it, I hope it fits. And then what I do is use some self-tapping screws that go in one hole there, and 3 more over in the back. And boom, you get a nice solid shelf in there. Very easy to do. I didn't have to go buy a press brake to do it. All right? What do we think of that? Pretty nice. In a little while, we'll show you a finished product. Once all these panels get fit up to the unit, they'll get painted, and then it'll go together as a complete podium for the trade shows. Nice seeing you.